You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, seniors in Jasper County may now have a new opportunity to save money through a tax program.
Also, authorities in Ottawa County are working to identify remains discovered north of Commerce, Oklahoma.
And we've got fog, we've got rain, we've got winter weather advisories. We'll go over all of that with you in the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is just after 7 a.m. on this Wednesday, February the 5th.
Yes.
And it is. We're halfway through the week, getting closer to that ever so coveted weekend. Love it.
Yes, we
Enjoy
do.
a couple of days of not doing anything, and that's coming up soon, but we still got a couple more days to get through first.
Yes.
We'll make it
Absolutely.
together. That's why we're here for you.
Yes.
That's what we do.
Absolutely. Something else that's coming up is that deadline to file your taxes. Now,
Yes.
Jasper County seniors hoping to save money at tax time may be able to do just that thanks to a new program.
The application for a senior tax freeze is now open and available through the county collector's office. KOAM Samantha Walker has more on what seniors need to know.
There are few things more certain in life than taxes. And for those on a budget, rising property taxes can be stressful, especially for seniors.
Taxes go up, the cost of goods goes up, Social Security income, not so much. And we want seniors to remain in their homes. We want them to be able to afford to live comfortably.
The Area Agency on Aging hopes Jasper County's new senior property tax freeze will help them do just that. It's a state program lawmakers passed in 2023 and amended in August. Jasper County commissioners voted to implement the program in October. It will freeze qualified seniors' property taxes at their 2024 rate, meaning they won't increase in future years.
That's significant considering 2025 is a reassessment year. So your values should go up under reassessment, but you're going to be paying based upon the 2024 tax amount.
Anyone who is 62 or older and who owns their home can apply. You can find the application for the program online, but it must be submitted in person at the courthouse in Carthage. Those applying need to bring proof of age, residency, ownership, like a recorded deed, and their tax receipt for 2024. The office says it's helpful if you bring copies they'll be able to keep, but they are happy to make copies when there.
It's very cumbersome. And it's cumbersome for us, cumbersome for the taxpayer, and I get that. Next year, on a renewal, it'll be much, much easier because we'll have the files built already with that documentation in it.
Shotwell says she's grateful to Jasper County officials for putting in the hard work to get the program started.
Makes people believe in government again after, years of uncertainty as far as what is tomorrow going to bring. The county coming and saying, we've got you, is really a good thing.
Reporting in Jasper County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, the application window closes May 31st, and if approved, you will receive a letter from the county.
You can learn more about how to apply for the property tax freeze on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com, and something you probably want to jump on as soon as you can because it is tax season. There's tax deadlines. The refund is nice. It's just the process of getting there.
Yeah, it's a hassle. It's a hassle for sure.
Boy, I tell you, it doesn't get any easier as time goes on. It makes the refund, though, even sweeter, though, when you do get it. Because you're like, it finally worked for all that. So make sure you meet those deadlines. And make sure you're taking safety precautions driving this morning. We got fog, we got wet spots, we got winter weather advisories. And we'll start with the look outside. Downtown Pittsburgh, it is foggy, it is drizzly, it is rainy, it is cloudy, it will eventually be breezy. It's all of those things. And that's a look from, of course, our camera downtown Pittsburgh. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. A little bit on the foggy side out there. Roads, of course, are wet. And here's the Skywatch Storm Tracker. It's actually now starting to pick up on some of the shower activity because, again, the drizzle, when the radar beam goes out, there's just nothing for it to bounce off of. But when we get some actual rainfall, it starts bouncing off of that, and now we're seeing a little more shower activity across the area. Quick look at the fog tracker. Everywhere we have fog. We have reduced visibilities across the 4 states, so you need to slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Give yourself time to get where you're going and watch out for those rapidly changing visibilities. On top of the fog, we have the winter weather advisories in our northwestern counties because temperatures are at or below freezing. So the precipitation, the drizzle, the fog that you're getting is liquid, but it's cold enough at the surface. It could lead to a glaze of ice, especially on bridges and overpasses, so you need to slow down, watch out for that as well. Taking a look at the future track, we will have rain showers. They'll be scattered and they will continue all day today and into the evening. And the other thing to keep in mind too is we could see this fog last as late as say 6-7 o'clock this evening out there. Again, below freezing or very close to freezing in our northwestern counties. South and east of that though, we have upper 30s and low 40s. Highs today for most of us should make the upper 40s out there, with all of those rain showers continuing. Again, watch out for that patchy fog as well. Well, now look at your forecast, talk about some warmer weather that's on the way, and then the really cold weather that's on the way here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Authorities are waiting to see if recently found human remains in Ottawa County can be identified. A man and a woman found the remains near a lagoon north of Commerce, Oklahoma on Friday. The Quapaw Nation Marshal Office is leading the investigation with the assistance of the Oklahoma Medical Examiner's Office, who collected the remains. They are currently analyzing the remains and hope to identify them. Now, due to several open missing persons cases, several folks had reached out to Lorene Bible, who assured folks they are not the remains of the missing Welch girls, one of which is her daughter. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The free tax service, staffed by volunteers, is in Joplin. The service is offered through the federal VITA program, and it's available to taxpayers making $65,000 or less. KOAM's Lonnie Walton talked to locals who are thankful for the service.
Actually wasn't planning on becoming a tax preparer, but I do very well at it.
David Torres is a site coordinator for the VITA Joplin Tax Clinic. He says people who come to get their taxes done are in good hands.
You do something well and enjoy it, that makes a huge difference.
Well, he's not the only one who enjoys taxes. His instructor from Missouri Southern does also. He has lots of experience to pass on.
I had a wonderful life as a CPA, giving back and helping people, and I enjoy doing taxes.
Both Barnett and Torres are using their love for taxes to help those in need.
We prepare federal and state, and if you live in a state such as Kansas or the surrounding states, we do those as well. So,
although the lines are long, customers say they don't mind it. It's free.
Like doing taxes, so my box, I just throw them in there, everything that comes, and then I just come trot down here and get them done.
It was free. They get it done proficiently, and I'm very grateful that they do it, and it's no charge.
Torres says if you happen to miss the deadline, he'll be waiting for you.
there's always people that are either filing late or have amended returns or had previous year returns that need to be fixed. And so we do that, provide that in the summertime and throughout the rest of the year, but we do that by appointment only. So,
reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The VITA program is currently held at Great Plains Federal Credit Union in Joplin. The program is available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, the Polar Plunge is happening this Saturday. We'll hear from a few representatives about how the plunge benefits Southeast Kansas. And later, we'll continue our special report from Tanya Bach as we investigate the 3 suspects in the case of the 2 missing Oklahoma girls. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Welcome back. Aaron Fletcher from the SEK Special Olympics and Lieutenant Chris Moore from the Pittsburgh Police Department are with us this morning to share how you can help the Special Olympics with an incredibly fun and chilly event this weekend. Good morning. How are you both doing? Thanks so much for being with us. So talk to me about the Polar Plunge and for those who might know about what it is.
Sure. Law Enforcement Torch Run actually started the Polar Plunge for Special Olympics Kansas, and I'll let Lieutenant Moore talk a little bit more about the law enforcement torch run in particular.
So the Polar Plunge is a law enforcement torch run event. We're
Yes.
the largest grassroots fundraiser worldwide for Special Olympics.
That's incredible.
So law enforcement all over the world raises money for Special Olympics. So in Kansas, one of our largest events is the Polar Plunge. So we host this one in Southeast Kansas, and we're able to raise a bunch of money to help. We jump in some water and raise a bunch of money for our athletes.
Yes. So talk to me a little bit more about, organizing those teams and how people can get involved, and if people still want to sign up, if they can do so.
Absolutely. So you can go on to soks.org, and from there you can register, you can donate, you can start a team if you'd like as well. We have several teams throughout the entire Southeast Kansas area, and we also have the option for a chicken plunger if you want.
Okay.
So you can sign up and not actually jump in the water, but raise money. This is our biggest fundraiser for the entire year. It helps provide so many different things for our athletes. We have all competitions from bocce to basketball and health and wellness that we do. So if you go online, you are able to register and able to support your favorite plunger as well.
Absolutely. Talk to me a little bit, why a polar plunge? Why jumping in the water for this event? Just talk to me a little bit about that and why people might want to do that.
Sure. Again, Law Enforcement Torch Run is the one that initiated this, and they have a long history of doing polar plunge.
So you can do a lot of fundraisers, but this one gets your attention.
Yes.
And we've come to find out over the years that once we get somebody's attention by doing this, they come back, but they bring a friend with them, or they bring a new organization. We've gone from one person plunges by themselves to now their church group does it, to their school does it. My son is a senior at Girard High School. He's got a bunch of kids coming from Girard High School with their Special Olympics Unified team. So it's great for team building, for one. Sometimes it's 12 degrees outside, and the ice, as soon as the water hits the thing. This weekend, it's actually supposed to be pretty decent, so we're going to be okay. The water's still going to be pretty cold, but it's a really good event, and it gets people out, and it shows our athletes how much we care and support for them. And so just being able to jump in some water for 5 minutes is not that big a deal. I tell everybody I'm always the last one to jump. So after I jump, I get out, and I always do the interviews with the media afterwards, but I don't change. I just stay there in the cold. And sometimes I have ice hanging from me.
Sure.
And then sometimes it's not that bad. So it's a really good event to do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Happy to have you here. Now, if you would like to learn more about the Polar Plunge or make a donation, just visit their website located on the bottom of your screen. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up on 7:17 now on this Wednesday morning. We're going to start with the fog tracker. We can see we've got fog across the entire area. Some areas like Iola, for example, have thicker fog, or denser fog rather, than other locations. Still, you need to slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Give yourself time to get where you're going. And something I want to mention too is this fog could stick around through 6, 7 o'clock this evening, which means it's going to be impacting our commute no matter what time of day it is, unless you are a late night worker. Then it may not be that big of a deal. Skywatch Storm Tracker, take a look. More shower activity is popping up on here because we're getting some slightly heavier rain, and just enough that it's rain that's being detected by radar now. And we'll continue to see rain across the area today. We also have winter weather advisories I want to mention very quickly. Our northwestern counties until noon today, and this is simply because the precipitation that's falling is liquid, but it's at or below freezing at the surface, which is then leading to this freezing, putting a thin glaze of ice, bridges, overpasses, your windshield, for example. So not only do you have the dense fog, you're also going to have to slow down, keep an eye out for the patchy ice that could appear. So again, not major accumulations of ice, nothing major, but enough that it could lead to some additional slick spots and other things you got to worry about while you're commuting today. Future track, we got the rain, and it will continue to be scattered showers across the area as we go through today, tonight, and into tomorrow morning. Now, overnight tonight into tomorrow, temperatures for most of us will actually begin to rise. So that does mean that our lows tonight probably very close to whatever our highs will be today, depending on where you are. Showers to start our Thursday, and then as we get through the late morning and afternoon hours, skies will clear out. We'll have a northeast wind out there, and we may even get enough warming to take place. If we get enough clearing, we could get some warming out there and not have too bad of a day for us on our Thursday. All right, right now it is 37 in Joplin. It's rainy, it's foggy. You can see all of that from our camera here at 7th and Range Line. Across the region, temperatures are chilly depending on where you are, and again, at or below freezing in those zones where we do have the winter weather advisories out there. And you get farther south and east, we get a little warmer. We've got some upper 30s and low 40s. As we start the day, we're going to be kind of hovering for most of us, low 40s. Some of our northwestern counties hovering in the 30s. We'll have the showers, we'll have the fog, we'll have the cloudy skies. We'll also have winds out of the southwest, occasionally gusting upwards of 20. Highs today for most of us, upper 40s. Some of our northwestern counties may only be the upper 30s or low 40s. You may not move too much. But with that said, temperatures won't move much tonight before they start to turn around and warm back up. We'll continue with the rain, still windy, southwest winds increasing, now gusting upwards of 25 as we go overnight tonight. And again, temperatures will gradually begin to increase overnight tonight, which will lead to a somewhat decent start to our day on Thursday. And again, once we get the clearing in place, if we get enough, we could go upper 50s and low 60s. Now, if for any reason the clearing is a little slower, it may not get as warm, especially where it takes longer for the clouds to clear on out. So not everybody may be that warm, but that's what we're hoping for at this point. Then we'll see showers start back up early Friday morning. They'll be isolated to widely scattered, but they'll be there Friday and into Saturday morning. By Sunday, we're not bad, but we are much colder. Colder air sets in, and we're keeping an eye still. Now, you can see everything for next week has been moved forward by a day. So instead of it being Tuesday and Wednesday, now it's Monday and Tuesday. But look at the temperatures, too. That's why a lot of variables still in play. We're still keeping an eye on that possibility of a wintry mix next week. But at this point, it's starting to look less likely that we're going to have any significant impacts. But again, we'll keep an eye on it for you. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this. Well, the missing Welch Rose cold case has captivated 4-staters for 25 years. While the courts have decided who is responsible for the deaths of the Freeman family and Laura Bible, investigators and Laura's mother still hold out hope the bodies of both Laura and Ashley will surface someday.
Welch, Pennington, and Busick weren't the first suspects in the case. KOAM's Tanya Bach investigates a few of the other suspects who didn't make it to the courtroom in her special report, Missing Still.
December 30th, 1999, Lorene Bible remembers the day like it was yesterday, watching investigators sift through the rubble of her daughter's best friend's family home.
All the floors and everything fell to the ground because it was about this high, so everything was on the ground except where the waterbed was on Danny and Kathy's bedroom.
That's where investigators found the body of the mother, Kathy Freeman, and then the next day she and her husband discovered the father, Danny. Both murdered, killed from a gunshot to the head. But Lorene's daughter, Laura and Ashley Freeman, are missing still to this day. After little more than a decade, DA investigator Gary Stansell and OSBI agent Tammy Ferrari joined Lorene's search for the girls and their killers.
So many people that were in the file that you couldn't really eliminate any of them. Oh, it's been well documented. Jeremy Jones was one that confessed to it.
Did you talk at all about Ashley Freeman and Laura Bible?
Yeah, they asked me questions about it.
Former Northeast Oklahoma and Southeast Kansas resident Jeremy Jones was already on death row for a murder in Alabama when in 2005 he confessed to killing the Freemans over a drug debt. Ottawa County, Oklahoma jail records show Jones was arrested for public drunkenness and possession of drug paraphernalia at 4 a.m. the night of the fire. Jones told authorities he shot the Freeman couple and set their house on fire earlier that morning.
You told me that you can't lie to me when you look me in the eye. Look me in the eyes and tell me if you're responsible for their death.
I'm responsible for their death.
Jones told investigators he took the girls and threw them into an abandoned mine shaft near Galena, Kansas. Their bodies were never found, and Jones later denied confessing to anything related to the case. In 2016, Lorene created a Facebook page dedicated to finding the girls. Shortly after, a tip led Lorene and investigators to Chautauqua, Kansas, where Danny Freeman worked with Charles Kreider, a man who a few years later strangled a woman and dumped her body in a creek.
There were a lot of people in Chautauqua that looked at this friend of Danny Freeman's because he was convicted of murder.
But a search at Kreider's home also turned up empty. However, by that time, Lorene's Facebook page was gaining traction with 3 more suspects to focus on: Phil Welch, David Pennington, and Ronnie Busick.
We had their names originally in the files way back. It was, along with hundreds of other names. It never came to the surface until around 2017.
The kids of the people in Chetopa were the ones contacting us.
We've spent so much time in Chetopa knocking on doors, having to track these people down and say, hey, do you know something? Yeah, I do. Like, why have you guys never came forward?
So a lot of these people had information and knew that they were involved, but they didn't want to die.
Conversations surfaced detailing that December night in 1999 when Welch and Pennington had intentions of retrieving a drug debt from Danny Freeman, and Ronnie Busick was along for the ride. Several of the witnesses also matched accounts of seeing Polaroids of the girls bound.
That they were able to see things in the photographs that with certainty identified it as being Phil Welch's house.
Everybody knew then that Philip Welch and David Pennington was dead. So they felt like they could talk a little more, but they still didn't want people to know who they were.
People just said there was just this look about him, just that people were afraid of him.
Phil Welch died in 2007. 1 week later, lightning struck his house out here in rural Cherokee, Kansas, and burned it to the ground.
7 years, 7 months, and 7 days after the murders, he died.
And he had his day of reckoning with the good Lord when he got there too. Now you're going to go straight to hell and you're not going to collect nothing.
The kids told the investigators they lived in fear not only for their lives, but for their mothers who dated Welch and Pennington.
One of them said, if you tell anybody, we'll kill you.
The witness accounts led to multiple dig sites in Pitcher, Oklahoma, and the eventual arrest of Ronnie Busick, who later pled guilty to accessory to murder. But no real closure for Lorene Bible.
I just want to know where my child is.
Who believes there are still answers out there. Tanya Bach, KOAM News.
Ronnie Busick was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but because of good behavior and time credited while in county jail, he was released after just 3 years in prison back into the area where he committed his crimes and where family members of the victims still live.
Well, this week, for a second time, Representative Steve Bayshore is attempting to pass Laura and Ashley's Law, a bill designed to keep that pain from happening to other victims' families. You can join us Thursday night for part 3 of Tanya's special report, Missing Still.
And again, having covered this story myself for quite some time following this, it's heartbreaking that there are still no answers after all the efforts and still no sign of where these girls went. And there's got to be somebody who does know something. It's just a matter of them coming forward and telling investigators what they know.
Absolutely. Well, coming up, the Miami Senior Center is undergoing renovations. We'll share how these renovations will benefit the community.
And we've got ourselves that patchy fog, we've got rain, we've got even winter weather advisories. We'll have a look at all of that when the KOAM Morning News returns.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:32. I'm Elise Snowy. The Miami Senior Center is undergoing some big upgrades. The center's original board was dissolved and it's now under the ownership of the city of Miami. Now, they plan to add some new services, equipment, and programs. A brand new kitchen space is currently in the works, along with repainting some of the facility. The center has expanded its programs and added activities. They even have their very first Valentine's Day celebration coming up. The center offers a library, gym, and a pool room for members.
Now that it's a city facility, we want to keep it growing, we want to keep it fresh, and we want it to continue to be a place our seniors want to come. So there'll be lots of projects coming.
The center is open every weekday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Membership costs $25 per year. The Freeman Business Center in Joplin held a Healthy Habits event last night. Dr. Rob McNabb, a practicing internist, hosted the event. Now, he covered healthy habit topics such as eating well, staying active, managing stress, and getting enough sleep. He also talked about staying away from certain foods.
Just avoiding ultra-processed foods would probably be a tremendous benefit for almost all of us. The average American eats about 70% of their calories as an ultra-processed calorie. The average adult eats about 800 pounds of food per year, and so that's a lot of ultra-processed foods.
McNabb is a longtime advocate for patient empowerment through education. Well, the group Carthage Parents as Teachers held a cute and crafty event at Hatcher's Coffee House yesterday. The smallest kiddos up to pre-K could bring their parents in for a Valentine's Day craft session.
Make a little space for kids to create with their parents, and they get to leave the mess with us and have a cup of coffee and hopefully meet other parents. I just feel like it's a great connection for kids to meet other kids and parents to connect with other parents and also with each other.
And we're pretty sure these parents have a good idea of who their Valentine will be this year. Let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're starting to look downtown Pittsburgh. We've got the clouds, we've got the fog, we've got the drizzle, we've got the wet roadways out there, which you can see right here. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin. You can see that we've still got fog out there across the region, and we have that fog is across the entire area. We do have rain showing up on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, which means we're starting to get some thicker raindrops out there, ones that at least the radar beam can bounce off of, and we're starting to see that fill in pretty decently around the area. We do have fog, as I mentioned, and it's across the entire region. So no matter where you're going, we have reduced visibility. So remember, low beams, not your high beams. Slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. And don't forget, this fog could last through 6 or 7 o'clock this evening. So it's not going to go away anytime soon. Winter weather advisories are northwestern counties until noon. That's because the precipitation that's falling is liquid, but it could freeze on like your windshield or elevated surfaces like bridges and overpasses. So slow down, watch out for those slick spots. Scattered showers will continue throughout the day today, and they will just be hanging out with us. Again, they'll be scattered, so you may get moments where it stops raining for a little bit, and then it'll start again. We have, again, temperatures gradually warming, so we'll get past that freezing concern in our northwestern counties, but not yet anyway. South and east, a little warmer, upper 30s and low 40s. We're looking at highs today for most of us, mid to upper 40s, rain continuing. We'll have the southwest winds gusting to 20, and again, that fog will be sticking with us for a while as well. It will eventually warm up. In fact, temperatures will rise overnight tonight into tomorrow. We'll talk about that and how the weekend is looking here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, let's look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A Colorado business is preparing to compete on the big stage of Sign Spin It. In Consumer Watch this morning, one major U.S. airline becomes the first to resume flights to Israel. United Airlines will restart service from New York and New Jersey to Tel Aviv on March 15th. The airline plans to add a second daily flight starting March 29th. The announcement came yesterday, the same day President Trump met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The airline previously suspended all direct flights following the October 7th Hamas attacks against Israel. And a postal workers union rejects a potential agreement for a new contract. The National Association of Letter Carriers says its members did not accept a tentative contract agreement with the U.S. Postal Service. The tentative agreement included wage increases and an anti-discrimination clause. More than 63,000 postal workers voted to reject the offer. The union says it plans to continue negotiations with the Postal Service within the next 5 days. Egg prices continue to rise across the country, mostly due to the bird flu. Now, that has some homeowners seeking a cheaper solution, and it might be in their own backyard. Fox's Jordan Bowen has more.
As egg prices soar in the supermarket, it has some asking, why not go to the source and get fresh eggs from your own backyard by owning backyard chickens?
When you raise on your own and when you crack them, I mean, you can tell by the yolks are just so healthy looking, nice and orange color, not like a dull yellow colored egg. They just taste better.
Justin McQueen, a manager at Largo Feed and Pet Supply, has raised his own chickens for the last 8 years. He says during the pandemic, interest skyrocketed and has continued to grow.
A lot of people are worried about where their food's coming from, so they want to raise their own birds so they know exactly what the birds have been fed, no additives, preservatives, chemicals.
To get started, the biggest upfront cost, a coop, which can range from a few $100s to more than $1,000. But after that, McQueen says maintenance costs are rather low. Baby chicks can go for about $6 each. On average, he says feed costs about $30 a month for, say, about 4 chickens, which he says might give 8 to 10 dozen eggs a month.
When we get the baby chicks, and you're going to have some kind of like heat lamp on them. They like to stay about 90 degrees for the first couple weeks, and then you start dropping it about 5 degrees a week.
He says typically they won't start laying eggs until they're about 18 to 20 weeks old, which means a major investment up front. Since egg prices have gone up, he says he has had more calls from people inquiring about ownership and says that having fresh eggs isn't the only thing drawing people in.
They're considered a companion animal. They'll come right up to you if you're sitting down in the backyard. Some of them will hop right up in your lap, just depending on how much interaction you've given them as far as when they were babies. It's just kind of soothing to see them, roam in the backyard doing their thing.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:44 now on this Wednesday morning. We're starting, of course, with the fog tracker as we've got widespread fog across the region this morning. So again, low beams, not your high beams. Slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going out there because you might run into those areas too where visibilities will suddenly drop. So you've got to be careful out there. And the other thing about the fog is it could last as late as 6 or 7 this evening. Not necessarily all over the place for everyone, but we could have patchy fog all the way through the late evening hours across the area. Skywatch Storm Tracker, we're picking up more shower activity because, again, the radar beam has something to bounce off of now. So we are seeing some actual rainfall instead of just drizzle or showers, but a lot of us still just dealing with drizzle this morning. As such, though, we do have winter weather advisories for parts of southeast Kansas, northwestern counties that we have out here. These run until noon today, and it's simply because through the morning it's been at or below freezing, and while the precipitation that you're getting, whether it's the drizzle, the fog, whatever, is in liquid form because it's below freezing at the surface, that is leading to some patchy slick spots, especially bridges, overpasses, and of course maybe a glaze of ice on your vehicle as well this morning. So with the fog and then with the patchy slick spots, you've really got to slow down out there this morning. Pay attention to where you are headed. Into the afternoon we go. We will have scattered showers throughout the day. They will be scattered. Not everyone will have rain all the time, but they will continue with the showers through the afternoon, into the evening, into the overnight, and into the first part of our Thursday. Now, quick mention, overnight tonight, temperatures for most of us will actually begin to rise as we head towards sunrise tomorrow, which will result in some interesting almanac keeping information for our highs and lows for today. As we go through Thursday, though, the showers start to clear out. By late morning, we start to see clearing skies. Depending on how much clearing we can get in, will determine how much warming we can do and who will see that warming as we go through the day on Thursday. Otherwise, we will be dry until overnight. Thursday and early Friday, clouds begin to retreat back north, and we see additional isolated to widely scattered showers that'll be with us throughout the day on Friday and then ultimately continue into early Saturday morning as well. Here's that fog, here's those clouds, here's that drizzle and how it looks from 7th and Rangeline out there, so you can see that fog for sure. 37, rain. North breeze at 6 does make it feel like it's 32. Again, temperatures are beginning to warm now in our northwestern counties. We're at or a hair below freezing, like Yates Center at 31, but still cold enough. You got to watch out. You head south and east, though, it does warm up even more so, upper 30s and low 40s. As we head through the morning, we'll have the showers, we'll have the fog. Temperatures, wherever you are, will just be kind of hovering. But again, these are averages over the 15-county area. Just kind of hanging out in the low 40s through the morning hours. Eventually, we should make the upper 40s. Southwest winds will be gusting occasionally upwards of 20 miles an hour. We'll have the showers, we'll have the fog. Then, this is why I'm saying it'll get interesting as for record-keeping purposes, where our low gets registered and recorded, because in some cases our low may be the same as our high, as temperatures are expected to rise through the evening hours. Southwest winds also increase a bit, start gusting upwards of 25, and those isolated scattered showers will continue. Again, they'll wrap up tomorrow morning. Depending on how much clearing we can get done, we could see upper 50s, low 60s. If the clouds take a little longer to get out of here, then we obviously won't get as warm. We'll have 50s Friday, more showers, 60s on Saturday, showers wrapping up, much colder Sunday, and then we're still watching next week. And again, this was Tuesday, Wednesday. Now it's Monday, Tuesday. And take a look, even for Tuesday, those temperatures, yeah, it's cold, but it's above freezing. So we'll have to see exactly how this pans out, but still, we'll keep a close eye on the start of next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Watching someone spin an advertising sign is captivating, yet it's easy to overlook as you walk past.
One business in Denver is taking it seriously enough to train for the sign spinning championships. Ethan Carlson has the story.
A unique spin on advertising.
A stationary sign, you might just drive by it, but if you see it in motion, 9 times out of 10 you're going to look at it.
Shimon Ingram likes to have fun.
You know what time it is?
Happy hour?
Hey!
And he's found a job that lets him do that. Sign spinning.
It fills my spirit. I get to put smiles on people's faces and get businesses more customers. It's a win-win situation for me.
He and his team at Arrow Sign Spinners take this seriously.
You could just be there spinning the sign all day and no one will notice you, but if you lock in, hey, how's it going? Hey, this trick is for you specifically. Boom.
What started as a way to get eyes on a product,
hey, if you're looking for something to do,
has turned into much more.
Jay is ranked 7th in the world in sign spinning. He is our golden ticket. We're bringing the championship home this year.
The World Championships of Sign Spinning happening in Las Vegas in March. Jay himself is feeling confident.
I'm ready to hit #1. I have some tricks in my sleeve and stuff that I'm ready to finally just unleash to the world.
They're looking for a Denver sponsor to represent their Denver team at the competition, a chance to perform in front of the best.
I have a background in dancing and breakdancing. Some other competitors have martial arts and acrobatic backgrounds, which they incorporate into their sign spinning, taking it to that next level.
But even if they don't take home the gold, they still have the job of their dreams.
I look at it as a form of alchemy. I put out good energy, I'm having a good time, I spread it, and it always comes back.
That's interesting.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I couldn't do that.
I couldn't either. You know, tax time, ironically, with it coming up, I know a lot of the tax firms around here, they put people out there spinning those signs and stuff. So we'll have to keep an eye out for those sign spinners. And it'll at least work to keep you warm if you're doing any sign spinning outside, because it is chilly. It's also foggy. We're going to look at the fog tracker and talk about one more time. We got fog across the entire region. Reduced visibilities. You may run into areas where it drops off suddenly as well. So remember, low beams, not your high beams. Slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going. Skywatch Storm Tracker continuing to show increasing shower coverage out there. It just means the radar is picking up on it. Don't forget, we have winter weather advisories. Our northwestern counties, these run until noon today because the precipitation that is falling up here is liquid. However, it's freezing because the temperature at the surface is at or below freezing. So it's mainly on things like your car, your windshield, for example, or bridges and overpasses. So we're not looking at any kind of significant ice event by any means, but still slick spots that you're going to have to watch out for. When you factor in the fog, you've really got to slow down this morning. Give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. Outside of that, though, we will have the showers continuing with us scattered throughout the day. They will last through today, into tonight, and into tomorrow morning before we'll eventually start to see them clear. A couple of things of note. One, the dense fog, or at least the patchy fog, could continue through 7 o'clock this evening for some of us. And then our temperatures will actually begin to rise overnight tonight into tomorrow, and then we'll start to get some clearing by the afternoon, maybe even a little warmer. That's a quick check of your forecast. We'll have another look at that, plus the news you need to know right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities are waiting to see if recently found human remains in Ottawa County can be identified. A man and a woman found the remains near a lagoon north of Commerce, Oklahoma on Friday. The Paw Nation Marshal Service is leading the investigation with the assistance of the Oklahoma Medical Examiner's Office. Jasper County seniors could save money on their property tax thanks to a new program. The application for a senior tax freeze has opened and is available through the county collector's office. Anyone age 62 or older who owns their home can apply. If approved, property taxes will freeze at the 2024 rate. The application window closes on May 31st.
And we've got ourselves the rain, the wind, the fog, all of that sticking with us today. We'll be into the upper 40s for most of us. Southwest winds gusting to 20. As we head through the evening, rain continues, and a note that fog could stick around, at least for some of us. Some patchy fog through 6 or 7 o'clock this evening. So just a heads up on that. And temperatures will actually start to rise overnight, so it'll be interesting to see exactly how our lows are clocked, but they'll be pretty close to where our highs are for today. A little warmer tomorrow if we get clearing early enough, which I'm hoping we will. Showers to start the day, though. Upper 50s, low 60s, more showers Friday and Saturday, colder on Sunday, and it's still keeping our eye on the possibility of some wintry weather by the start of next week. So something we'll, again, keep a very close eye on.
Well, one Florida home found an unwanted visitor making itself comfortable on their pool deck. A Florida sheriff sergeant helped the resident get a crocodile away from a home.
Now, footage posted by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office in the Florida Keys shows Sergeant James Hager using a shovel to help the resident scare away the unwelcome guest. But he was not in a hurry to get out of there, though, which, I mean, that's understandable.
Might be the most Florida thing I've ever seen.
It's gotta be. Thankfully, Florida man wasn't around, or
right.
It could have ended with the crocodile and Florida man sharing a beer on the poolside. You never know.
You never know.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good into your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.